morning, everyone. Welcome to Éxito Sin Fronteras, Success Without Borders. How are you doing this week? Today we have Luis again with us.
Hello,
Welcome,
hello.
Luis.
Thank you for having me back.
We had a guest today, and unfortunately he couldn't make it, so here we are today. We're just going to talk about a random topic, and it's not so random. It kind of goes, how's your weekend, Luis? How's your weekend?
It was interesting. Um, what did I do? Well, I guess I spent most of the weekend covering this story. Do you want me to tell you about that for a minute?
Yeah.
So, this weekend I covered the story for a very well-known DJ that passed away here in Denver. His name is Dr. Daddio. He has a really, really rich history here in the city. He actually was one of the first owners of a black radio station outside of was it west of the Mississippi? The whole way that they break it down is very old America, right? But it's super interesting. He did really cool work in the city for as far as the civil rights movement, and I spent the weekend covering his funeral, and it was very moving. You know what I mean? Like, since we work in radio also,
Yeah.
and like we care about our communities, and I hope that someday the work that I do can equate to a fraction, right, of his work. And it was a very interesting weekend. It made me reflect a lot and be thankful for the community we have here in Denver.
I agree. And thank you for the family letting us show up, right? Letting
Yes.
KUSH go and
Yes, it's always awkward when you kind of cover stuff like this because, like, that's not, we're not entitled to that story, right? We're not entitled to the thoughts of the family, but they were gracious enough to share them with us, and we're really thankful for that. So, but with that being said, how was your weekend?
uh good. I got to hang out with my kids, and that was enough. I had people asking me if I was gonna watch the Super Bowl, and I've never watched the Super Bowl, so I wasn't gonna start this weekend.
Yeah, I know. I'm not a Super Bowl person either. I watched the performance on YouTube after. You know what I mean? But I'm not gonna sit there for 4 hours and watch. And I told you guys on my radio show, I am learning how football works a little bit more, so I can report to you on the Broncos. But that's as far as I'll go. I have a line, okay?
Yes. What about I guess part of the reason why I didn't watch, right, was it's all the controversy going around, the back and forth. Oh my God, Bad Bunny's gonna play. It wasn't even about the football this year. It was about being divided, and I've never seen us being so divided, and that was sad.
Yeah, it is really sad.
What do you think?
Um, I think it's really hard to kind of pinpoint where it is. You know what I mean? Where everybody is so divided. Why? You know what I mean? There's a billion reasons.
There is.
But at the end of the day, there was, I think the estimates for the Super Bowl were about, what, 100 million people? Um, so if you do feel like it's just so crazy divided right now, which arguably it is, just know that there is unity in some aspect, right? For what you could say. Even if you feel like you're part of the outside group, I know that Turning Point USA thing had about 5 million viewers, and to each their own, right?
Which is fine, right?
Which is fine.
It shows unity there.
Right, but
It's not even a bad thing. I think people are like, oh my God, if you watch that, then like who cares? There's people come together, and if that's how people want to come together, great, right? I just think it was all the hate and all the posts and social media that was just the fighting, right?
well, and you saw that Bad Bunny was in a bulletproof vest at the VMAs or at the Grammys and at the game, which is, Madonna didn't have to do that. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
So, but it's just tough to think about, and when the show was so much about unity and love and bringing people together, but it just goes to show that it's real. When that ask for unity and love, it's coming in response to so much hatred, that's happening right now. But what do you think?
Well, it kind of brings us to the theme of the day, right? Which goes back to whatever is going on, not just with the Super Bowl, but our political environment right now, and everything that's going on, and why people are going, or why people are fighting, and it's the truth, resistance, and integration. A lot of people can't handle the truth, right? I say it all the time with my coaching clients, but this is on a massive scale. A lot of information is getting released, and most people don't know what to do with it because we're used to, and I don't want to say it as a culture, I want to say as a society, as a civilization, to stay quiet. to not talk about difficult themes like sex trafficking, like corruption, right? We don't want to accept the fact that these things exist. So today we're gonna be talking about truth, not facts, not opinions, just truth, right? The truth is people were hating on each other because of the Super Bowl. First world problems, right?
Mm.
Wow. That's what I classified first world problems. What do you think, Luis?
I mean, yeah. But like that's the thing though, is that like you can say it's a first world problem. That doesn't mean it doesn't matter. You know, it just maybe not be like the most pressing thing, but.
And I agree with you, but it's more like wow, look at we're taking all this time, energy into arguing whether who's gonna play at the Super Bowl, who's gonna do the halftime show, right? When there's all this information being released right now, and I don't want to be taken off air, so I'm gonna let you guys figure that one out. As to the Epstein files, right, and all the corruption, and you you just have to realize that what are we doing about it? What are we doing about it? A lot of us online are complaining about it. A lot of us are ignoring it. A lot of us are saying nothing and avoiding it. And that's what it is in family problems, right? Let's bring it down to the simplest things. If we have an argument in the home with your kids, with your partner, what do? We deflect, we disassociate, and we avoid. And that's exactly what we're doing today with everything that is going on and everything that's being put on our plate. What do you think?
I mean, I think you're right. You know, I think especially when it comes to, because like for example, when you're thinking about the government, right? It starts in the home, right? And then that goes to the community, and then that goes to the state, right? And then it just keeps growing from there. And I think for a lot of people, it's been really hard to kind of process all of this and see it all because most people are good people. You know what I mean? Like most Americans are kind. They care about their neighbors. They would never hurt somebody in those kind of ways. And to see that the people that we're, you know, trusting with our society and our everything from the roads to the missiles in the sky, you know, that to know that they're doing things like that and that they're degrading, you know, what it means to be an American and what it means to be a good person. You know what I mean? Like, you know, in the sense that they're representing us. I don't want somebody like that representing me. Do you? You know?
No, we don't. But I want to take it even above Americans, right? It's why I said civilization. It's because this is a problem worldwide.
Yeah.
It's a problem worldwide, and I want to say, considering that we have freedom of speech, and I was going to use air quotes, because everything gets censored nowadays.
Yeah, that was a nervous laugh, by the way.
It was. It was like, uh, it's what are we doing? We have the environment. We are the country that has freedom of speech, and we're not doing anything about it. We should be the world's, let's call it, big brother, taking care of everyone else, and we're not. We're staying quiet. We're digging our head in the sand, and it's just sad. It's sad to watch. And I wanted to have this conversation. It just hadn't had. I didn't have a point of where to start, right?
Mm-hmm.
And today, now that our guest didn't show up, I'm like, screw it. We're gonna talk about it today.
It's a sign.
It's a sign.
What's meant to come out will come out.
So it goes back to let's bring it down to the simplest things. You're in a relationship, you know your partner's cheating on you, but you decide to lie to yourself and pretend that you're not seeing it. It's the same thing now, right? With everything that's going on worldwide, is you're seeing it, it's in your face, and you're choosing to not look at it because you do not want to deal with it. The next thing that I hear a lot is, it's not affecting me, so it's not a big deal. Well, the immigration issues are not affecting us directly, right? But they will be once we don't have enough farm workers, once we don't have enough laborers, once we don't have enough people to keep up the lifestyle that we're used to. Then it's going to affect us, and who are we going to blame? Because that's what we do. We just turn around and blame people. Who are we going to point the finger at next?
Yeah, and I mean, it reminds me of with all the files that have been coming out, there was one little bit that stuck out to me a lot too. I don't know the exact name of the company, but there's one of the big 2 or 3 school photo companies, right?
Mm-hmm.
and they had ties to those files. So you can feel like it doesn't affect you, nothing like that. But at the end of the day, if we don't protect the own kids in our families, you know, in our own communities, what are we doing? Like, really, what are we doing?
We're destroying our future generations.
And we're
and let's say this. Not even destroying. That's a wrong statement. Let me correct myself because that is not accurate. We are going to continue to repeat history as it has been for millennia because we've never spoken up about it and we've done nothing about it.
yeah.
I feel like that is the correct statement.
Yeah, and it really does feel like, you know, you'll see like online in the conversation, there's like this big conspiracy circle of like, oh, they're doing this ancient worship and all this stuff. No, this has been happening for a long time. Look at what happened with slavery here in America. We were a segregated country 60 years ago. What kind of atrocities do you think were happening then? You know, there are documented. There's plenty of history that even in America, um, slaves were sometimes turned into furniture, leather, human leather. This isn't some weird conspiracy theory that is coming from whatever. This is history, and it's happening. And I think the sooner that we can accept as a society that we exist within the context, not just within the idea of history, that we can actually move forward and try to do something about this. Because what, me, like, one person, what am I going to do? But if you have a million people that are saying that, that's a million people that can do something.
You know, a few years ago, this is actually what set me down my path of where I'm at today. I was, and again, it's not red or blue, left side, right side. It's all a mess. What got me so involved or deep diving into doing research, because I've done research, it's in your face. Was my kids actually. I was stressed because my kids were gonna go into elementary, and I was worried that, let's call it, and we're gonna call it for what it is. You can Google it. The gay agenda, right, was gonna be shoved down my kid's throat, and nothing against people that are gay, right, or have these, whatever. I can't even express myself correctly. It was more the thought that we're shoving ideology down our kids' throats, right? We are grooming them and we are preparing them to do whatever they need, and that's I couldn't handle that. I was like, if my kid wants and has that, I'm gonna accept and love my child, but I don't want it to be programmed into their brains that they could be a girl or a boy if they are a boy, or if they say they're a girl that they're a boy. I didn't want that. So I went down a rabbit hole and did research and did research and did research. And then it turns out that all these things uncovered, and I want to say a lot of people are not religious, and I'm not religious either, but I do believe in God. And I asked for the truth. And when I asked for the truth, it started coming out. I started having books come to me, random books. I'll tell you off air which book it was a book.
Tell me, I want to know.
Not on air though. I could tell you that most people that I've told about this book, they can't finish it. They can't even read it. They can't finish reading it because it challenges all your ideas, all your beliefs, and this is exactly what's happening with society right now. I've already went through what society as a whole is going through, in the sense of the disassociation, the this isn't real. The right now where everyone is at is hopelessness. We've lost hope, right? We've lost hope for humanity. Like you said, it's easier and it's sad and it's depressing. I think people are no longer in the stage of denial. I think they're in the stage of integrating this, but we can't see, the public can't see solutions to this because, as they're saying right now, if they were to bring down everyone that's tied to the Epstein files, the system would collapse. And what does that mean? We're more comfortable with continuing with the system that does not do us well than to collapse it and try and figure it out. Does that make sense?
It does.
We're comfortable with the system, and in a sense we're lazy because we don't even want to think above and beyond what it looks like to crumble this system, to get justice for all the victims, than to actually put all our heads together and do something about it. That's exactly what's going on. So we feel hopeless. You feel hopeless, right? At some point, like you said, who am I? I'm just one person. I had the same exact thought. God, who am I? I am just one person. What can America do? And in that point in time, my partner then was like, America, you can't just quit. There are good people, and I'll be like, where are they? Where are they? Where are you guys? Where are the good people? I'm not talking about the people giving out information and going online and complaining. I'm talking about the people that are actually going to have action. The people that are going to go out there and fight for us. I'm going to go fight out for us. I'm doing it right now. I don't know how to do it either, but where are we? We need to unite. We need to come together. We need to rebuild the system from the ground up. Where are we? Where are we? That's my answer, and that's my call out today is all the people in the back that have the ideas, that have the solutions, that have even thought about it, let's do something about it. Because there are it is our time to step up to the plate and do what we were meant to do.
Well, let me ask you this though.
Damn, I didn't want you to ask me questions.
um, so, in my little part of town, what can I do? Like, let's just brainstorm for a second. Like, what could I do to mobilize my community? You know, whether it be my neighbors, mi raza, like, you know.
Let's think back to Martin Luther King days. Let's start having meetings, right? Let's start having the uncomfortable conversations. Let's start accepting and teaching people how to have these conversations, right? How to accept that this is real. And I feel like if we start building groups, support groups, and saying, yes, this is real, this is real, this is real, but unfortunately, this is what I see as well, is that most people aren't gonna say stuff. Why? Because people like the ones that have been exposed, they're everywhere. They're in our families, right? They're in our schools. They're in the system. And these people don't want to get exposed. And the people that care about them don't want to expose them. It's a mess.
You know, I was thinking, I was talking with one of my colleagues the other day about how you fight that kind of corruption, right? Is that, like, for example, like, let's use like a DMV, for example, a DMV here in Denver. Um, it wouldn't be impossible to enact change in that sense to where what you can do is have a community of people. You start with a group. They come together and they basically start some kind of database and they subpoena certain government buildings. Start one DMV at a time. If they don't want to release the information, you set up protesters outside. You put pressure on them, and then you move on to the next one. And that's literally one way. Like, for example, a subpoena based on who's working there that has sexual predator in their history. Why are they working there? And the sooner we can start ousting these people out of these local government branches, the easier it's going to be to fight them as we go up higher. Does that make sense?
And let's all come together, right? Everyone's like, oh, let's let the justice system figure it out. No, let's build groups, like you said. I disagree in protesting. I feel like it does nothing unless like there's a big movement. Protesting lately has just become, for me, like a tantrum. We're throwing a tantrum.
I mean, that's a very good perspective too.
Right?
I see that too.
I don't want us to go out and throw tantrums. We're not children. We're here to make change. If we're gonna be out there making change and actually trying to make change, like you said, hey civilians, let's come together. Let's build a group, and these civilians get access. Let's do a nonprofit, multiple nonprofits where we all come together. We volunteer and we actually go in and review all these files and do what's needed to be done. Exactly what you just said. Let's not just, oh, I'm gonna go protest this. No, let's actually get to work.
Well, and like I think in that sense of the conversation on protest, if you look at the photos from the civil rights movement, everyone signs like, and I'm sure you can see the photos too of people pulling up in their trucks just full of signs. And everyone's signs were the same, because not because they had all these big money investors or whatever, right? It was because they were organized and they had one clear message. So when you like go down and walk up 16th Street or whatever, and you're just holding up a sign with the little meme from Heated Rivalry or some Marvel thing making fun of the president, like, what's that helping? You know, what is the focus? And I think that's kind of where we're at today, is that like we can acknowledge that all of this is happening. There's people burying their heads in the sand. There's people that are pretending it's not happening. But then there's the other side. And when we're here on this side of the conversation, what is the focus? What is the goal? Do you want these people out of government? Do you want these people in jail? Where do we go? And I think that's the bigger conversation to have, because some people have their heads stuck in the sand for life. And I know that a lot of people God.
I think we got kicked off of Facebook.
That's okay, folks. That's okay. I think there's like a lot of people that are so far down the rabbit hole that they've lost community, and that's by design. You know what I mean? Like these crazy radical politicians, they want to push people to the point where their whole family pushes them away. No one wants to talk to them, and then they can't walk away from their politician because that little community is all they have. You know, I know people. I know Hispanics like that are still supporting ICE, despite what's happening, just because they have no one else to turn to other than those communities. You know.
Right.
And that's a tough realization to have. You know, I couldn't be with no one. You know, I couldn't be without anyone else. Like, but I don't know. And what do you think? What do you think?
I think the people that are going to come together are going to come together to this call to action, right? Again, same thing with the going online and renting. What are we actually doing? What is it? What's the purpose of just putting information out there if we're not going to do and have any action? And again, this is the call out. Where are the people that can actually make a difference? Where are you? How do we join you? How do we support you? Put us to work. There's a lot of people out here that actually want to work, that want to support, that want to make a difference, and we don't know how. But you do. Reach out, let us know. We are more than happy to I'm more than happy to take some time out of my day and go, like you said, to a school and research and put kids at kids' safety first, right? And protect my kids. I'm more than happy to do that. I'm more than happy to go interview people and try and figure this out. But let's tell people why people fight truth, right? Truth comes out. Let's put it in a family section, right? I feel like we all know someone that has had something happen to them in their family. It's unfortunately very common, as much more common than we would like to admit. So truth comes out. Back in the day, and I've had multiple conversations with older people, and they said we wouldn't be allowed to say anything. They would protect exactly how we're doing right now. They would protect the perpetrator because of what are they gonna say? The he said, she said, the drama, the oh my God, ¿cómo se dice, Luis? La imagen de la familia.
Yeah, I think like keeping up with the Joneses, everyone has to
right.
be
Perfect.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So nobody would speak out, and I think, and right now too, even if the truth is in our face, right, we're still in denial because if it's real in the government, if it's real worldwide, it's real at home, and that's hard. That's where I see people are struggling to accept and swallow this pill, is that it makes it real, and when it makes it real, you lose everything that you have built around yourself to create this survival mechanism, the denial, the lies that you've told you, and people's identities are fracturing. People's psyches are fracturing. And again, been there, done that, right? When I went through this a few years ago, it was hard. It was very hard to go through this and be able to accept the fact that this is real, right? That, in fact, everything that we've been told is a lie. Everything that's there to support, to care, it's not real. You lose your footing. Everyone, I feel like that's what's going on right now.
It almost kind of, have you seen that movie with Jim Carrey, The Truman Show?
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of how it feels. Like, it's just like, everyone was lying to me. Now what? You know, now what?
Right, now what? And that's where I see people right now.
And it reminds me of, you know, like going back to the files for just a second. When all this stuff is coming out, like background stuff, Hillary, for context, right? Hillary and Trump were running against each other, both knowing what was in those paperwork. They were performing. They were lying to our faces, and I'm just being honest with you. You know what I mean? Like, and I know that it's not very PC, right? But they were performing and they were lying to our faces, and to have as context, right? So in retrospect, what now? What do we do about it?
Right, because again, the fear is we lose certainty. If the whole system collapses, what then, right? Then everyone's going to fear, oh my God, we're not going to be the world power. Okay, so what? Would we not rather be good with our hearts and our souls and our children of the future and say that we did what's right and we decided to rip it from the roots than to stay the same and just keep repeating history.
Because if that's what being the world power means, is that what you want to be, right? You know, like if that's what the price it comes with.
That is a big price that I am no longer willing to pay.
Do we have a full hour? Are we almost out of time?
You want to get off now?
No,
we can keep
it's
going.
your show, girl.
We can keep going.
I'm here for the ride.
There's so much, right? And it's, again, I think it's fear of change, right? We're so used to the system, the same, repeat, that again, this is also causing everyone to realize that we need change. And change is hard. Change is hard is when you don't embrace it. And most people don't know how to change. Most people get up, go to work, eat the same breakfast, take the same route to work, right? Have been at their job for 10, 20 years, same person or same patterns. You don't even have to be married, right? You're repeating the same patterns. You're going to one abusive relationship into the next, and it's a pattern. So when it comes to change, people don't know what that even means.
Yeah, and I think sometimes, you know, even if you fall into that pattern, I think change it can mean a lot of things. It can start small, right? Let's say like you're at work and everyone's had one coworker that just constantly, especially if you're a guy, you know, you've had a coworker that constantly makes comments about the women there and their bodies and X, Y, Z. And even telling them, you know, shut the fuck. Oh. Excuse me. Even telling them to stop. You know what I mean? Like even having little personal boundaries that you draw in the sand, because what you allow around you eventually becomes who you are.
I love that you got super heated there.
I'm very passionate. I'm a big brother, if you can't tell. I'm very passionate about all the women in my life. But yeah, and it's just kind of like you can make those incremental choices. You don't have to go fight the president of the world or whatever. If you just stand in your conviction as an individual within every day, and like I said, that doesn't mean you have to change who you are overnight. You don't have to quit your job and burn the building down, you know. But what you can do is stand up for what you know is right in the smallest ways you can. If everyone is doing it, then that can lead to some real change. I'm just being honest with you.
Right, I agree, and it goes back to, I don't know, someone in I was talking to, I don't even remember this person. I think what they said was, oh well, if it's no one says anything, so it's accepted, right? Or if the person stayed quiet, then it wasn't a bad thing. It's like, but then if it wasn't a bad thing, why are you hiding it? Why are you sneaking around? Why do you have to hide and do it hidden, right? If it's not wrong, then why do you have to hide?
You want to know about this interesting concept I found out about yesterday? So for those of y'all that are kind of new here, the studio is being remodeled, kind of. We're like talking about it, and there's going to be some big changes soon. And I have all these cool blue curtains in my office back home, and I was going to bring them in. And we want to do like a little bit of a music segment, right? And I was like, oh, we could call it the blue curtain because we have these cute little blue curtains. And I Googled it. Guess what it means? Do you want to guess?
Yeah, no, I want to know. What does it mean?
So apparently blue curtain is a concept among cops where they will basically not like hide evidence, but they'll protect each other from being caught for police brutality. And like with the conversation we're having, it just seems really relevant, right? There's just like this system of these people that are here to protect you have their own system to protect each other. And so it's just like, where does it stop? You know, it seems like everywhere I look lately, like it's the same kind of thing. It's like everyone's just lying to me. Even Disney was lying to us. There's no prince and princesses going like nothing. The animals can't talk either.
Don't get into Disney. That's just another topic.
That's a whole other topic. We can talk about Disney for hours. I think Disney's crazy.
And again, change is terrifying, and people are not willing to change because they don't feel safe. The other part is, right, and I want to bring this into context. Everyone's messed up, right? Everyone has made a mistake. Everyone has whatever. Where it starts, and I'm going to go above and beyond, let's call it the law, whatever, is forgiveness. That's where it starts. You have to start with yourself. I'm going to go back to, I played a song with Michael Jackson a few episodes ago. It's called The Man in the Mirror. And
classic.
Considering now everything that we know, now we understand why he made it, right? Why he made this song.
We could have a whole episode on Michael Jackson. I have so much to say about him.
But that's kind of right. If you want change, look at yourself. Start changing yourself. Start changing your beliefs. You know what? Did you do some? Did you do something bad? Did you talk bad about uh, any race? Right? Whatever you did. Did you cheat? Did you lie? Did you do it? Accept it to yourself. This is the moment where the truth comes out, and all the little trapitos are coming out, right? And you have to face yourself. I'm gonna tell you this right now. Going through it, the only way through is going through it. There is no avoiding, there is no under, there is no skipping it. You have to go through it, and let's forget about all the truths that are coming out worldwide. Is you have to start telling yourself the truth. You have to start accepting yourself, your mistakes, all the things that you've done, and forgive yourself. That's how change happens. Start with you.
You know, I have this is an interesting kind of conversation because I feel like I've been having this conversation with myself lately. I have this old friend. I don't know if we're really friends, right? But old colleague, you could say. And he's Hispanic. You know, he supported Trump. It's been what 12 years now. For what 10 years, whatever it is. And for the longest time, I remember like not like hating on the guy, but I remember being like, oh, we're never gonna be friends. How could anyone? And you know, obviously you can probably guess my political affiliation, whatever. But I just remember kind of hitting this point to be like where I realized, you know, if that's where he's at and it's been so long, he probably doesn't feel comfortable acknowledging any other way of
Right.
it being any other way of being the truth. And for me to turn around and confirm those fears that he probably has about like if I leave this, if I face the truth, I'm gonna be alone. And I think that's really scary to think about. And I think as a person, you know, that has empathy, I want to extend that and I want to say that like, you know, it's okay, you know, to say you were wrong. It's okay to feel disillusioned because I do. You know, you're not alone in that sense. Um, and I hope that more people are kind of having this conversation with themselves and their neighbors and their friends because a lot of people are waking up to what's happening.
There's nothing wrong with being wrong. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with changing an opinion. I feel like that's something too that has been embedded with us, right? And I've had conversations in the past with friends and with family where it's like, hey, you said that you like circles and now you like squares. I'm like, yeah, that is true. I used to like circles and now I like squares. What's the problem? Oh, but you said circles this and blah blah blah. It's like, but I have a right to change opinions, right? And so do you. If you like chicken, right, and then at some point your taste buds change and you don't like chicken anymore and you like beef now, good for you. Or it kind of goes back to now you're a vegetarian or you were a vegetarian and now you're eating meat again and people are going to judge you because you decided to change. That's one of the biggest reasons why we don't openly say that we've changed opinions is because we fear of being judged because we're so tied and constricted into the ideology or the identities that everyone else around us put around us. So be you. Change. If you decided to support Trump, if you supported Trump, well, who was the other guy? Joe Biden? Jesus Christ. See, I don't support no one. I support no one. I'm not affiliated.
At this point, I don't trust nobody.
Exactly. I'm not.
I'm double checking the mirror at this point.
Is the
Is
mirror
this real? Is it double sided? Is there a camera?
Right?
No, for real. For real. No, I think that's.
The next step, guys, is paranoia. Is that's gonna be fun. And most people are gonna get stuck in paranoia. And if we get stuck in paranoia, oh, it's gonna get ugly. There's phases to all this truth that's coming out, right? Truth requires capacity, and most people don't have capacity. And in order to build capacity to receive truth, you have to look in the mirror. You have to accept, you have to release. That's all I can say. And the next thing is there are many of us who have gone through this already. Reach out, ask us for support, ask us questions. You're not alone. Even when I thought I was alone, I wasn't alone. I looked for support. I have my coach. I had people that I would constantly talk to and have conversations with because I would have gone crazy. And everyone that's alone, that's going through this alone, you're not alone. You're not alone processing all this truth, all this information, all this hate, all this anger, right? You're not alone.
It's a very nice message. It's really easy to feel alone. And I feel like so much of our devices are designed to make us feel like that. You know what I mean? Like,
Well, you just said to talk about Instagram and we were
yeah.
saying.
No, we were
right?
talking about Instagram right before the show. Is that it feels like every social media has like a different tone, right? Like you go on Twitter and it's like the trenches, right? And then you go on Facebook and it's like the retirement home.
And then you go to Instagram, you upload stuff, right, and you have views and people don't comment. There is no engagement, right?
Mm-hmm.
Even now, we're on TikTok live too, on my TikTok, and no one engages. No one says comments. Don't be scared. Who cares? We're out here outing ourselves, putting ourselves out in the air. Who cares? Be brave. Have a conversation, right? That's part of not being alone.
But it's funny that I think I was talking about this on my show last week about like how I'm on my like sixth episode, seventh, I'm not sure. Um, and I'm new, right? So most of my experience is being behind the camera, out in the field. To be here, sitting in front of the screen, reading from the teleprompter, that's all new. And I blunder during the show, and but that's what makes it fun, you know. And I feel like there's so many people these days that are like they want everything fresh and new out of the box, but that's not how we work. That's
Or
not
perfect.
yeah, and that's not how it works. That's not how anything works.
This,
like,
this is the whole point of Éxitos Sin Fronteras, right? Success Without Borders is we're not doing it perfectly. We're doing it. I had a client, a coaching client, say, "Oh, but I love it when people use God and religion and text to back up their beliefs because I will destroy your beliefs and everything that you're arguing with." And she was saying, "Oh, but my brother is doing this, this, and that." And my answer to this client was, "But you believe in God, right?" "Yes, I believe in God." "Okay, so then you're saying that God made a mistake creating your brother." "Oh, well, no. Then we have to accept the fact that we are perfectly imperfect,
mm-hmm.
right? And it's all made by design if those are your beliefs. I'm not saying those have to be your beliefs. I'm saying those were this person's beliefs, and I challenge them with that answer, right? We are perfectly imperfect, and that is okay. Nothing has to be perfect. Man, I brought a sweater today because I was cold. I was going to take it off, and I'm like, you know what? Not because I want to look good on camera. I'm going to be cold.
But it worked out though. We're matching kind of.
We are. But do you see what I mean? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. We're always constantly thinking, oh, people are watching us. Yes, people are constantly watching us. People are constantly looking. And so what? So what? Not because they're watching us. See, right now you're watching me. Have I made mistakes? Have I stuttered? Have I forgotten what I'm saying? Who cares? Who cares? Judge me. Oh my God, America made a mistake. Oh my God, America did this. So what? So what? Is my life going to stop because you're judging me or you did this? No. At the end of the day, if we do nothing about society, we still got to pay bills.
We have this saying in my house that says like, I don't know, we always say it in different contexts, but it basically means like, if you, like anxiety is you daydreaming about your nightmares. And just look at it that way. When you're like thinking about all your insecurities, all this stuff that people are thinking about and doing, like all you're doing is daydreaming about like the worst case scenario. Like that's it. And you're just injecting all of that into your brain and it's just, I don't know, for what that's worth, if that helps.
So this is where we're exactly the collective breakdown, right? Is as a society, we're dealing with too much information and not enough integration, right? We're flooded with revelations, but we haven't built systems to process them. Well, we have. We just don't reach out. I have a system. I've processed it, right? If you feeling down, you're feeling down. I call these existential crises, right? And we're going through a big existential crisis as a civilization. This is again not local, not to our country, worldwide, worldwide. And I don't want to be a country. I had a friend. I don't know if he's gonna hear me, but Pablo, he said he's like, oh, someone he put on a cap of ice and he was making jokes and people attacked him, right? And to him, his comment was, he's Colombian. He's like, I am used to a government that overreaches. So to me, what we're going through in America is normal.
That's interesting to think about.
Guys, do we really want what's happening right now to become our new normal? Because we have many examples as this becoming real, this becoming our new normal. Are we really going to just turn around and let this happen? And I just watched Independence Day the other day, so I would love for us to say we are not going to go silently in the night. We are not going to stop, right? We are going to stand up for ourselves because isn't that what America is? Isn't that the whole point of this country? To be that and then to turn into what everyone else is? Again, we are the example. We should be setting the example for everyone else in order to gain freedom, in order to get out of totalitarian governments and stop the overreach. Are we really just gonna sit here and do nothing about it? Because that's exactly what we're doing.
I know. I was thinking about how I'm gonna have to throw away my Ring camera. I don't know if you saw that ad for the Super Bowl.
Yes, I was watching it.
It's a little creepy, right?
But again, that is real already. They're just telling you right now, but it's real already.
I mean, no, I've seen it. Like the background of tech.
If you guys want theories,
Let's
because
hear it.
they're no longer conspiracies. If you want a lot of information about everything that's going on, just reach out. Send me a message. I would love to set up a little group, right, where if you're ready to process a lot of this truth and maybe lose your mind and melt your brain a little.
America's gonna meet you like at the bottom floor of the Cherry Creek parking garage and hand you a little folder at 2 a.m.
We're just gonna do it out in the open now because
everything's out in the open now.
Everything's out in the open now, and it's in your face, and you could do your own research, right? But if you want some information, I've been called crazy. I've been told, America, none of that matters. Go back to work. It's in our faces now. So again, if you want to reach out, I would be more than happy to share some of the information that I've dug up and found because it's real. It's real. Everything that you're learning now, I've already processed it. I've already gone through. I've cried. I've lost hope.
You should come on to my show. We should do like a special.
We gotta pick one theory though, and we could even degloss it.
No, that's true. There's a lot.
There's just so much.
There's a lot.
Let's even call it again the fires. Let's go with the fires that were happening, right?
Mm-hmm. In California, right?
In California, in Hawaii, where was the other one? In Peru? Era Peru?
Yeah, and what was that whole thing in Hawaii where like all of the fires happened, but not like an acre of Oprah's property was burnt or something like that, like.
Or the fact that the blue ceiling, anything that was blue didn't get burnt down. That is real, guys.
It's creepy.
So.
It's just tough though, because like I feel like what's really devalidating though is like asking questions is good, right? But I feel like over the years, and I think this is by design, the big people upstairs have made it seem like asking questions and looking and trying to understand these conspiracies is a crazy thing when it's not. It is not crazy to want to put two and two together and understand the world around you. Like, what's crazy about that? Somebody did it with the Epstein files before they even dropped.
You know what's even crazier? That this is what they're doing. Again, going back to the overreach. If we do nothing about it, now, if we stay quiet, what they want. Why? Because they've proven to us that they could do whatever in our faces and show us everything that they've done.
Right down to the photos.
And we're not going to do anything. We're going to sit down and we're going to take it. We've lost and they've won. And they just keep showing it to our faces, showing it to our faces, showing it to our faces. I'll give you one thing from that book that I was telling you earlier that I read, which is true, is they have to tell you what they do. Otherwise karma works, right? And it is true. One thing is, I give you this water bottle, and I say, here, Luis, drink some water, and you drink it. And you die of poison. I killed you. You're dead. I killed you because you drank the water. But if I say, hey, Luis, here's this water bottle. It's full of poison.
You're going to get us taken off Facebook again.
It's fine. And you drink it. Now you killed yourself because I shared. I gave you the information. So it's no longer considered the fact that I did harm to you. It's you decided to harm yourself.
Right.
Because it was disclosed. And that is exactly how they work. Look at your food labels. It's that simple. Look at all the things and all the toxins and all the products that we have in this country.
Think about how many of them are outlawed in other countries too. Like if you look at the ingredients list for even like Lay's potato chips, like in Europe, there's like 6 ingredients in there. If you look at the ones in the, it literally looks like a chemistry like table list. Like it's crazy. And I think that's really it reminds me kind of the cigarettes, how they have like the signs all over them is like they're toxic, they can be deadly, but it's your choice. You know, to do nothing and take the poison.
So it goes back to the same thing. They're giving us the poison. It's in our face. Are we gonna swallow it? What are we gonna do?
Well, I'll tell you one immediate thing that you could do right now is, you know, and I kind of speak more on this from perspective of a man, is that you should believe the women in your life. Believe what they're telling you if people don't feel unsafe. And I have plenty of, you know, friends that are women that live alone in the city or whatever that, like, it's not every time, but sometimes I'll drop them off at their apartment. Can you walk me to the door? It's like, sure. You know, like, the people, not everyone has the same senses as you. You know, everyone's lived different lives, understands different contexts. But what I'm telling you is the best thing you can do is just believe the women around you. No one hasn't, not no one, you know what I mean, whatever, right? But it's just such a hard thing to talk about and to express and come to terms with. Why would someone lie about that? Let's just keep it, you know what I mean? Like, I can see why someone would lie about.
I have different opinions because I know people that have lied.
You do? That's
yes,
crazy.
Yes, I do.
We should do a whole other episode about them.
We should because that is crazy. I know men that have been targeted on the other side from women like that. So it's again.
Wow, we should bring. That's a really interesting story because you don't hear about that very often. Like, I know it's out there, it happens, right? But,
it's real.
Oh my gosh.
It is real.
And it's tough. This is one of my character flaws, is that, like, I want to see the good in everybody, and sometimes it screws me over, for like a better word. But it's okay. I'd rather that than lose my shine, right?
Well, something I've come to really build up is I'm able to tell when people are lying, because people don't lie to you, they lie to themselves to keep up the mask, right? And going back to the truth, right? The stages is, the first one is you obsess and then you panic. That's where most people are right now, is they're obsessing and they're panicking, and they're digging and they're panicking, and they're just spreading panic. And the next one is, the other side is total shutdown and denial. They'd rather not see it, they'd rather not see it, they'd rather not see it. And both are trauma responses, guys. I want to say this clearly and responsibly. The truth without grounding can destabilize, and that's exactly what's happening. And we are being destabilized. We are being destabilized right now as a society. It doesn't matter, again, right or left. They're both part of the same house.
Yeah, they're coworkers.
They're best friends. It doesn't matter. So anxiety increases, paranoia can show up, rage and anger replaces clarity. This is where we're at right now. People disassociate or become hyper defensive. We see that a lot. Why? Because we'd rather, again, how am I going to look if I stop supporting the guy that I supported now that I know all these things are out there? And again, it's both sides. Let's see.
I was listening to this social worker on TikTok talk about. I know this is me doing research. This TikTok that I watched, but she was talking about how a lot of what's happening right now with those files is, in the sense that, like, we say we can't do anything, right? To read all this traumatizing stuff, to see all these photos, to understand this, and to not be able to do anything about it, that has psychological impact. And, you know, it kind of goes back to what we're talking about. It's like that anxiety, because what they're trying to do, my understanding, right, is that they want you dysregulated. They want you feeling anxious and angry, so that they can take that anger and direct it at someone or somewhere. Where do you think that is going under this administration, right? Why do they want you all riled up and angry for blood, right?
Because they want you to do nothing about it. They want you to go and be nihilistic.
And where does that play into, like, what happened with Alex Preddy, right? Was that, like, people, the poor man hadn't even been buried yet, and people were already making jokes about him and how he deserved it because these people are so nihilistic, because that's easier than acknowledging what you were wrong.
Let's even go with Charlie Kirk.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't agree with a lot of the things he said, but he didn't deserve what he had coming, or what came to him, right? Nor what his wife is doing, nor all the ties she has all around that I'm not going to share on air. Go do your own research.
There's a lot. I spent a whole, like, 6 hours one day looking into Erica Kirk. She's a very interesting person. I'm not going to say much else because she'll come for me in the middle of the night.
All right. But again, we are very much happy. We're very happy.
We're very happy here with our lives.
We are happy with our lives. We are not sad.
No, and that's the thing, is that, like, the whole thing with Charlie Kirk really, I think it blew that lack of empathy out of the water. I think that's kind of where everybody took off the mask, and I really think that's a direct result of our leaders in this country for the past years acting the way they act and talking to people the way they do. Like, remember Mr. President getting on the airplane and the reporters all asking him a question, and he's like, "Quiet, piggy." And it's just like, you're a grown man. He is acting like a gay queen from New York. Like, and I say that with love to the queens from New York.
Yeah, it's crazy. I'll see. Now
But
we're taking off stream.
Oh my gosh, it's okay. We're still on Facebook. We're going strong on Facebook.
Truth is medicine, and the wrong dosage can hurt. And they are on purposely poisoning us right now with so much truth, so much information that you cannot process it. In order for you to disassociate, disengage, and or go full on rage. That is the plan.
Sounds right. No, we love it.
This is where our integrity comes in, right? Integrity is not forcing people to see how we see. I don't want you to look at the views or the world how I see it. I want you to do your own research. Anything that you see on here, go do your own research. Again, it's all accessible. It's all accessible. Integrity is honoring timing and capacity, and again, there's nothing about integrity about anything that's happening right now. Let's see. Truth force becomes violence, and this is where we're at. Very violent. So the final is how do we integrate truth without destroying ourselves? First, we normalize it, and you can say you're not ready, and that's okay. If you're not ready, guys, it took me 3 years to be able to be ready to come out here and have this conversation with you. It took me 3 years for me to be able to integrate all the truth, all the information that I received, that I've researched, in order to be able to even start the conversation.
Along with your life that you've lived, you know?
Yes. 3 years. I've been silent, I've been away, and that's a long time. We're not going to get through this today, tomorrow. And it's okay if you say you're not ready and you need to take a step back. That is okay. It's not okay for you to not acknowledge it again, to pretend it's not there. Readiness is not weakness. If you're not ready, who cares? Again, you're not weak. I'm not gonna judge you. I'm sure Luis isn't gonna judge you, right? As I can see, Luis right now is going through the phases, so we need to talk. Because he's gonna be my first person that I help through this. Been there, done that, right? So it's okay if you're not ready to process. Take what you already have, take a step back, disconnect, and connect to whatever you believe in. And if you don't believe in a higher power, look at your kids, connect with your family, connect with your friends, touch what's real. That's what grounding is. Go out in nature, right? Hug a tree, for crying out loud. Who cares? Do something to be able to ground you and back into reality, because you can lose yourself. You can drift away into hopelessness. Been there, done that. And it's the road back is hard, but you're not alone. You have people that have gone through this that can walk you through all the steps in order to make it back. Again, 3 years is a long time. Actually, it was more like 4, but it won't take you that long.
Especially with this show to guide you and get you there.
The other one is, again, ask yourself what is true. Sometimes we think we see things and we don't understand them, so we make our own ideas. And if you don't understand it, sometimes it's best to leave it alone, because you don't have the capacity to process it right now. And that is okay. If you don't have the capacity to hold certain truth, that is okay. Most of us don't have that capacity. And you don't have to. We're all meant to do different things.
I think we're almost at the end of the show.
We are.
This has been a really good show. I hope that you out there listening, friend, I hope you enjoyed. I know it's kind of a heavier show today. But,
it is.
I don't think anyone likes talking about children being harmed in any way, but I'm not going to pretend like it's not happening. I think anyone doing that at this point is an accomplice.
I agree. I had that conversation with my mom about my childhood. and not something similar.
Mm.
Well, I guess similar, but I was kicked out when I was 16.
Mm-hmm.
My dad kicked me out. I already worked through it, processed it, forgave him. We've had conversations, and thanks to that experience, I am who I am today, right? But she's still in the denial phase, and she's like, she made a comment the other day, and I'm like, Mom, you kicked me out at 16. She's like, I didn't, your dad did. I'm like, you said nothing and did nothing, so you were an accomplice to that decision,
Yeah.
right? And that's another conversation, because then that's just more trauma. But it's the same thing, right? If we stay quiet, you're part of the problem.
I think it kind of reminds me of this concept within Chicano studies, is that like, and even just any kind of minority group in general, is that you're either part of the group, you're an ally, or you're an accomplice. And that can go both ways. You want to be an accomplice to maintain the system, you can do that. You make your choices, whatever, but people that want to make change need accomplices to help them. You don't have to be, in the same way that like, I'm a man and I will fight for every woman's right to do whatever they want with their bodies until the day I die. It's that simple. I don't need to benefit from that at all. I don't. But that makes me an accomplice, and I'm willing to be one. You know, ride or die. So kind of I guess that's my closing thought to think about, is like, where do you want to stand when it comes to who you're helping with your energy and your time that you're dedicating to covering it up or bringing it to light?
Well, my closing statement is, where do you want to be in history? Because these are history-making moments. And when you look, and your children and your grandchildren and your great-grandchildren, and that legacy that you have left behind, look back. And we had the opportunity to do something and change it for the better for them, and we did nothing. Is that what you want? Where do you want to stand? Where do you want to be in that story? And with that, guys, ladies and gentlemen, thank you. Thank you so much for joining us today. And on my side, God bless. God bless us all.
Brought to you by Encore Bank.
Encore, yes, my bad.